Oh God. Okay. There's no champion today, which is fantastic. Guys, I got a video coming later for you guys. An old deck, but a good deck, and it should be a pretty fun video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. We're still waiting to get to that 1K so that we can definitely have some more fun on this channel. Looks like we're getting some more Noxious and Demacia cards because Aatrox is coming. I feel like, or maybe they might save him for a little bit later, but he's definitely the big bad, right? We definitely think he's coming, but let's see what they have in store for us here. And boom, shaka laga, we got Legionary Charge, legendary. Shut up you. And it is draw an ally with actually let me go into one of the other sides because it's easier to see. There we go, you guys can read a little bit better. So Legionary Charge, draw an ally with 5+ power or grow an ally to 5 power this round. This is amazing because of reputation, right? Reputation, especially the second part, right? Draw an ally, so boom, 2 mana, draw my LeBlanc, right? It's good if, the problem is if you have a bunch of 5 costs, then it's drawing a bunch of random nonsense that you might not want in comparison to I want LeBlanc, I want Sivir, I want insert 5 cost power card here, but it is a good way to draw an ally. You can draw a champion. It can draw a lot of stuff in your deck, maybe even in a Yeti deck, and you can draw that stuff. So I like it. So it's 5+ power as well. But I also really like the grow an ally to 5 power. This is a great way to counterbalance being frozen, being -1, -2. So I actually think that this card is in a really good reputation decks and make it more consistent, which is something that I've been waiting for a long time. You'll definitely see me play more LeBlanc decks and have more fun with her because it just sucks when you get -1 and you have 4 power, and since it's not, reputation is not based on the amount of damage you've done overall, it's based on an arbitrary number of 5, and if you for some reason are below that, you get screwed. So I like this card a lot. Also, it's easy to push lethal. It's you can see something that has very low attack and then all of a sudden you're just pushing mad damage, and it's like, well, now that's 5, now it's lethal, or now your thing trades into something better, even though they just spent some time boosting this and boosting this and boosting that. And also, as I said in the last video, with equipment, this is very vicious because if you have the equipment with its own separate power, and then on top of that you have something that grows an ally behind it, it boosts up damage like pretty high sometimes, which is pretty cool. So I like that card. I like it a lot. All right, so like the animation, the art behind it as well. Next up, we have a Brutal Skirmish. Brutal Skirmish, destroy an enemy's equipment, an ally and that enemy strike each other. What? So we're getting a close combat in Noxus. But if based on how they read this, right, and you have to pay attention to like how stuff is worded. So I'm assuming that you only can use this or even like target or begin to target anything if the enemy has an equipment. Then those two ally and enemy strike. Now also that is a targeting a self-target stuff. So yes, Varus is very happy, and so is Pantheon, so is Akshan, but I think they have to have an equipment in order to use it. I think that's how this is worded from what I can tell at the moment. I think you have to have it, have the equipment on the unit. So that does weaken it a little bit. So it makes it, that's why it's probably 3 mana. I was about to say, why is this not 5-6 mana or something like that? But it is because of that, for that reason, right? Also pretty cool is that I feel like Jin Annie gets a way to kind of counteract some of the decks that they might be facing if equipments become even more and more popular as we see more come into the meta. I do think that this is a really good one for a deck like that, so it has more interaction, and Noxus is pretty good with their violent interaction cards, so it's nice to see them get a little bit more. I love this too. You can see they broke the blade. You see the soldiers like, oh god. Next up, the Rune Squire. So Riven getting some help here. We haven't seen an additional Riven card for a while, and it's cool to see a specific card help a specific archetype, right? So Rune Squire is a 2-cost 2/1 challenger when I'm summoning Reforge. So that's awesome. Good for creation decks. Good for a lot of decks. Good for the last card, couple cards we just saw, right? Grow it to 5. 2 mana 5/1 challenger is basically like the other thing, right? So that's pretty cool. Not much to say here, but it's a amazing card. And I think you can run this in a majority of Noxus decks just because of the fact that Reforge can then give you Overwhelm. It can then give you Quick Attack, and it can allow you to give the other one to just boost damage. Yes, their focus speed, but still, even outside of a Riven deck, I do think that this card will see a lot of play just because it's a good 2-drop. It's just a really good 2-drop. Next up, Icathian Myths. It's the spatula, the lovely, lovely spatula. So here we go. It is a create a Icathian Mirage in hand, which is, we all know what that card is. That costs 0 this round, or create a golden spatula in hand. So now we're going to need to see what a golden spatula is. Legends say the original wielder of the golden spatula was a marine creature of outstanding culinary prowess, one who sought to become a warrior as strong and fearless as Jax. Other more credible legends say that particular legend was fabricated entirely by a certain cook who was very, very lost in the sauce. Which is his earth, right? It's the earth spatula. So what is the next thing? There goes the Icathian Mirage. So not that bad though. I do like that you can create a unit in hand. It's a Demacian card. It's not a weapon master card though, so I guess they missed out on that. And then this must be the golden spatula, which is a 2-cost 3/2 spatula. Why does Demacia have some of the best one? I still think it's funny that people slept on, definitely slept on Demacian Steel, but just because it's like, oh, it's a 1-cost 1/1. Like, yeah, with Forge that thing is nuts. Super early curve, and now you have a 2-cost one that gives you insanely good stats that you can start passing around. I actually think that if anything, burst speed, create this thing and then slap it on someone, 3 mana play, 3 mana spell mana play into a lot of stuff. That's awesome. I don't know. I think that this is really good. I think what is it? I think the Buried Armory gives you a 4/4. After a couple turns. This is I think way more mana efficient, and like I said, if you're running Forge, you put this in there. You have the Icathian Mirage. That's even some Nora support, right? Nora support. All right, I know I'm kidding mostly. All right. So next up we have the Darkin Aegis. So we have a shield Darkin now, and it's just it's a +1/+1. And like I said, most of them are 2 costs. Someone's like, oh, not all of them are 2. I know, but they're 2 costs and less. Even when you use Cade in Path of Champions, that's his whole shtick. He just summons one in the beginning of the match. So we have it. It's just very generic, actually. Darkin Aegis to play Joraal. I like it though. It is a early mana tough, and tough that you can easily give out to other characters, and it's more consistent, right? I think the only other way the tough equipment is through the improvise thing, which sometimes, and it doesn't, the one that you get from improvise doesn't give you any additional defense, so this is good for your formidable decks as well, right? It's cheap, you can rotate it around amongst your units, maybe heal them up a little bit, I guess, depending on what's going on. And next we have Joraal. Let's see what he does. Demacian Darkin. Oh, it doesn't work yet. I think it's just the next card here. They made it separate instead of attaching it to the card. So that's the one. Okay, so this is the card that was talking shit, and I thought it was Pantheon. And I was like, yo, this might be a Pantheon skin, but it looks like I am wrong. So let's see what he does. So he's a 5-cost, as you saw, for 5. That's probably one of the cheapest Darkins that we've seen so far. And we see that he has tough as well. 5 mana 4/3. Your opponent's spells cost 2 more while I'm attacking. So what does that mean? It means Aatrox is in the back. That's Aatrox is in the back. He's coming, boys and girls. He's coming. He is coming. It makes very reactive plays harder. Their burst speed spells. I love this type of card. This is really cool. And Demacia has a lot of ways to make your spells absolutely insane. First one deck I would like to make this is a Petricite deck. Just this most annoying. Your unit, you have a mostly unit based deck, and you just make their spells off rip cost a shit ton. Maybe even throw in Prank in there to just make it just obnoxious. Yes, it's mostly for spells, but like it's just to make their decks obnoxious. And a lot of spells, especially if Varus or Seraphine become really popular, I do think that those types of decks should be more popular, right? It's a nice way to counter them out while keeping just chunky units on your side. And then if all this stuff is mostly in Demacia, you're able then to splash like a Bard or something like that into your deck and just keep your units healthy, or I don't know. I think that that's just pretty cool. Really cool unit. And I think that's it, right? Even if I go back to here, that's the only thing that they've shown. Yes, very short reveal, and sometimes short is better. Said no woman ever. But I like these cards. I like these cards a lot, and they're showing Noxus, they're showing Demacia here, getting a couple additional cards. We had Shurima. I do think that what usually happens, right, is that tomorrow will be absolutely nothing. No, sorry, tomorrow will be the reveal, right? Like the reveal of the last champion, and then people will have the early access for a day in advance, and then after that the expansion releases for everyone. So if I'm pretty sure I have no contacts with Riot at all. If I don't have any things, what I'll do is a video maybe going over decks, because a lot of these, I don't know, Mastering Runeterra AR, this one, they let you make decks in advance. So then maybe I'll share you guys a couple of deck ideas that I'll do a video like that, because I can't compete with the algorithm against people that can actually have early access, and they'll be playing stuff before I get to play it, right? So I will be there on the 12th, but hopefully tomorrow we get Aatrox in a box and I'll be happy. So let me know what you guys think about the reveal. What were your favorite cards? And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.